Good morning, everyone. This is Chris around the ATL. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. I had some technical difficulties earlier. I tried to begin the show and I noticed something, so I started over. So, hopefully, it's working. I really wish I could call out the phone number like back in the day and have people call in, but we're working on that as well. Let's go ahead and get a little background music going. So, this morning, as you noticed, the hat. Season's finally here, guys. 2026 for the Atlanta Falcons. Let me turn this down just a little bit. And we have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to get right in it. Don't forget, IMTM Worldwide Radio on YouTube is the channel to check out all Atlanta sports. I know I've been concentrating on the Atlanta Hawks for a while, which I'm not finished with my game reviews. If you haven't watched them, go check out games 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the 2026 Knicks versus Hawks playoff series review, shot for shot. Even though the Atlanta Hawks should have beaten the New York Knicks in the first round of the playoffs, they did not, and I'm showing you why it didn't happen and also why it should have happened. So make sure you check that out. I have some Braves talk coming up as well as Atlanta Dream in the very near future, so check that out. So, and also my rants of the day. Turn this out just a little bit more. I'm experimenting with this music thing. So one thing I do want to mention right before the show starts, I had somebody at work watch an episode or two, and they said that they appreciated what I did in regards to on the sports side, as far as just talking about it in regards to facts. Okay. And again, it doesn't matter if only one person gets to watch. That's what they're going to appreciate. Because no matter what or how you feel about something, facts are facts, right? And you can take those facts for what you will, and you can disseminate those facts, and you can, move things around, but facts are facts. It's a straight line. There's nothing wrong with being a fan of the team, but facts still have to take place somewhere in that, scheme of things. So anyway, just wanted to say that real quick. So what are we doing today? We're talking Atlanta Falcons football as the season is about to begin. I'll go ahead and do this part since I got it pulled up. The preseason schedule. The Atlanta Falcons are going to be playing the Denver Broncos on August 14th. That's a week from now. They will then play the Indianapolis Colts on August 22nd, and then they will play the Miami Dolphins. Remember, they're only playing 3 preseason games now because it's a 17-game regular season. So they play the Dolphins on August 28th, and then it's all for the marbles at that point. We know Pittsburgh is game 1, which we'll get into in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started today, this morning. I almost said tonight. I got to remember it's dark outside, but it's early in the morning right now. So let's get started. I was supposed to do this. There it is. Preseason, again, Denver Broncos at home, Colts, and then the Miami Dolphins. So we don't get to play anybody in the NFC in preseason. Ain't that crazy? But anyway, let's talk about, first of all, how this season is. There's going to be a lot of mixed emotions and things of that nature. Everybody has employment, obviously, right? And no matter what, your personal life is always going to be a part of that too. And one of the worst things that can happen in your personal life is losing someone in your family. And if you're married and you end up losing your wife, that is basically the worst thing that could ever happen. And that's what's happened recently with Coach Ulbrich, who came back to the organization. A lot of people are gone now, as we know. I'm not going to really talk about coaching changes and things of that nature today, but Ulbrich coming back with how the defense played last year was a huge deal, in my opinion, just on continuity, right? But with Ulbrich losing his wife, it's going to be a huge deal. And of course, my condolences to, Coach Ulbrich and the whole entire family. It's going to be really, really, really tough. So one of the things I'm looking at is this year is, of course, the team rallying around Yeah, just see organization of everybody, the whole city, hopefully, right? So I think with all the things that have happened just in this off season so far, this will be one of the biggest things that will kind of hopefully launch the team forward and doing everything they can to basically win every game. 17-0, right? Gotta do it, right? So just wanted to mention that right off the bat. It's going to be, of course, a storyline that the networks and things of that nature are going to bring up. Is going to be part of it. So it's going to be how they are able to maneuver through all of that, game after game, interview after interview, things of that nature. So it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy at all. So let's talk about free agents lost, okay? Because when you're talking about the off season, you can't negate players who were here a year ago, whether or not a season is successful or not. You have players, some of them that were helpful, some of them maybe not so much. So some of them I am going to mention as far as who they were and where they're going, where they're at now. So Ronnie Harrison plays safety linebacker. He did help to an extent, I would say, when we had some injuries. Of course, we remember Diablo going down. So he played some time, had 29 tackles, a couple of sacks, 2 passes defended, right? He had Sam Roberts on the defensive line. And I was just say inconsequential pretty much. Felipe Franks, who I almost thought was going to finish his career as a Falcon somehow, but no, he's in Carolina now. Bradley Pinion, longtime Atlanta Falcons punter, no longer here. Darnell Mooney, where we didn't really get anything out of him. It just is what it is. Only had 32 passes caught. AK-47, which of course he had changed his number, but we never got to see him become what people perceived he could have become. So he's going to go and play for the Philadelphia Eagles now, find out. Javon Gwynn, I'm not going to say anything. Elijah Wilkinson, not going to really say anything. Caden Ellis is probably the biggest one. Now, this one directly affects something else I will be talking about, obviously, this morning, the defense. Because Caden was a linchpin on helping our team go from the bottom of the league to almost the top of the league in sacks, right? Led the team in tackles. He had 107. He had 3.5 sacks himself. Had 10 tackles for a loss. He had an interception. He had 6 passes defended. He is going to be a big deal in losing. And then for the fact that he went to the enemy. He went to he went to Stinky Town. Like, how you do that? Like, I don't know. We lost Contavious Street, who was, I would say he was serviceable. He helped out. He had 4 sacks as well. Tyler Algier, of course, we're going to miss him to an extent for sure, just on the basis of his running ability, his strength, things of that nature, getting those touchdowns, punching it in, so to speak. Ayumata, I would say we're going to miss. He was part of being able to keep everything together on that in the inside line, right? He had 8 sacks a year ago, so that's we just Anyamata and Caden. That's about 11 sacks right there from that total from a year ago, right? And we also lost D Alford. I think it was just time as far as that goes. But he did have 3 interceptions, though. Had a lot of passes defended. He did have 2 sacks as well. So that's a couple of extra sacks gone. Now, here's where it's going to come in as far as the depth. Because initially it looked like we had, started getting depth and things of that nature. But then, of course, boom, injuries. right? So let's talk about some of the injuries right now. And I'm going to try to go through this decently quick. Of course, we know Jalen Walker gone for the year. That's official, right? But then you have Tua right now with his back questionable for week 1. You got D'Angelo Malone not playing, physically unable to perform list. You got Jawan Taylor expected to return week 1 with an elbow. That was from July 31st. You got Troy Anderson, which if we don't release him like before the end of this weekend, like again, we might need to do a march. We might need to do a march. There's no reason that Troy Anderson should be on this team. He is hurt every second. Like, how much money has he made off the Atlanta Falcons and not played a down in however long now, right? Of course, we got Penix coming from the ACL. I'll talk about that a little bit when I talk about quarterbacks, but he's questionable for week 1 at the moment. You got DeMarco Hellams with his hamstring, questionable for week 1 right now. You got Zach Harrison. Right now, doesn't look like he's available. You got Xavier Watts. Right now, questionable for week 1. Billy Bowman with his Achilles. Right now, he's on the physically unable to perform list still. His expected return is week 1. You got Ontario Thompson, right now not available. And then you got Storm. This is the only player on the offense as of the moment. Storm Norton with his foot. Right now, he's on the physically unable to perform list. So the positive of this, the offense looks like it's ready to go. Okay, that's the positive. The negative is, look at all these defensive players. For the most part, you know, that's a lot right there, right? So let's look at this current depth chart now. So with all those players that I've mentioned that are not more than likely available, let's start with the offense right now. As of the moment, they have Tua as a starter, which right now with that back, are we really sure about that? Well, again, I'm gonna finish this up with quarterbacks in a second. Of course, you got Bijan at running back, and you got Brian Robinson following him up. And as of right now, you got Tyler Goodson and Nathan Carter. Then you have at wide receiver, you got Drake and Dotson and Zacchaeus, right? Then you have Branch, who looks like he's moving on up. You got Dylan Drummond, you got Vinny Anthony II, and then you got Chris Blair, Antoine Wells Jr., and Brockington, which pretty sure somebody's not going to be here by the end of all that. Tight end, you got Kyle Pitts. Austin Hooper is back. You got Charlie still here, and someone named Joshua Simon. I have to look him up. At our offensive line, I should say. Of course, you got Jake, you got Bergeron, you got Nuzel, you got Lindstrom. Right now, again, though, Jawan Taylor, not so much right now. So behind them, you got Jack Nelson, Kyle Hinton, Corey Levin, Anuwa, and Wyatt Morris. We'll just have to see about depth after that. I don't know. Some of these guys don't look like they're going to be here. Now, this is where it gets dicey now. In our base 3-4, you got Dorless, Hand, Harrison, Aziz, Diablo, Christian Harris, James Pierce Jr. I'll talk about that in a second. AJ, Jesse Bates, Xavier, Mike Hughes, Billy Bowman. Now, Xavier and Billy Bowman, right now, not sure about those guys. Zach, of course, I just mentioned him. So behind those guys, you got Mikael London, Mason Smith, Chris Williams, Cameron Thomas, Josh Woods, J.D. Bertrand, Clark Phillips is still here, Mike Ford Jr., Avion Terrell, the brother of AJ. And then third behind them would be Ontario Thompson, which I mentioned already in the injured list. Troy Anderson, I mentioned the list. Braylon Trice is third string right now, which I believe he's also dinged up, even though I didn't see it on the list there, but I believe he is also hurt. Kobe Bryant, Helms, as I mentioned, C.J. Anderson, Darren Hall. And then you have some people on that fourth string. Again, most of those players might not be here that much longer. Then you have Nick Folk, which really is like one of the biggest things about the offseason is we have a kicker who can kick it through the uprights all the time. Like if we had Nick Folk a year ago, we're a 10-win team. And it's not even a question. We had enough defense and just enough offense. We had games that were winnable and we lost them close because we couldn't get somebody to kick the ball. It was just a nightmare, right? So that's huge. You got Jake Bailey at punter now. Your punt returner and kick returner is going to be Branch at the moment, it looks like. So let's see anybody. Yeah. Got Natron. Well, you got Vinny Anthony II and Natron Brooks as backups on the kick returner side. So that is your depth chart as of the moment. You know, y'all can hit me up and let me know what you think about that so far. Again, this is just right before the first preseason game. So we know that this is going to be completely different after that first preseason game. And as we get closer and see how injuries are healing and seeing who moves around and moves up possibly. So let's talk quarterback for a second. So I mentioned right now they have Tua as the starter. Now, initially, per the offseason, we got Tua and we were going through everything with Penix and stuff like that. And I said, well, depending on Penix's progress, I would say Tua is going to be at least good for 2 games to start off. Okay. And it really will just depend on how fast Tua is able to be back on his feet, taking snaps, running, throwing the whole 9 yards and everything. Penix looks pretty good out there so far. If you've seen any of the tape and the film out there on the internet, he looks like he could go. But do you go ahead and be, you know, cautious and still let him get to the point where, because right now up to this particular show, I can't remember whether or not he's been clear for 11 on 11 just yet. Up till now, it's been 7 on 7, I believe, right? So how fast can he get to that point? Because now, again, we're a week away from the first preseason game. Will he play at all in that first preseason game? Will Tua be ready to go? Because right now, again, per the injury part of it, let's see if I can find it real quick. Per his back, he's questionable for week 1. So if he's questionable for week 1, is Tua going to even play the first preseason game, which is in a week? I don't know. But I said Tua should be good for 2 games. And again, you know, Tua, and I believe I talked about this some months ago. Tua is actually a pretty decent quarterback. He just had he had a bad year, but that don't make him a bad quarterback. But again, you got to look at all the context, pieces around him and everything like that. A lot of those interceptions were his, but he didn't have a lot to work with either at the same time, right? But he's had some pretty good seasons in the NFL. He can throw the ball. And with the offense that we have and the pieces that we have, which, again, I wasn't going to get into it. But, yeah, we do have a new head coach. I was going to get to that eventually, right? So per all of those factors, Tua should be able to, you know, we should get some good play out of him, okay, for at least 2 games, right? Does it need to be 3 games? I don't know. Remember, we have 17 games, so we need 10 wins one way or the other. One way or the other. So can we get 2-0? Can we get a split? But we don't need to go 0-2, right, to start off the season. Not this season. Not of all seasons, it can't be this season. So will Tua be ready to go? And then with Penix again, when will he be available? And with that being said, who will be the true number 2 right now? If Penix is going to be kind of sidelined for a couple of games, we went and got Cooper Rush, obviously, but what about Jack Strand? Could Jack Strand all of a sudden be the number 2 quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons at the very beginning of the season? Will we see him on the field? I don't know. It's possible. He's not playing bad out there, right? And remember, if you looked at what he did in college, which do I have time to do that real quick? Let's see. I don't know if this will work. I'm going to try it. Let's see. Nope, it won't. Oh, well, let's see. No, it won't. I tried. But just off the top of my head, he had pretty good numbers in college. Just saying. I mean, not that everybody who gets drafted is, great eventually, but you got drafted for a reason. In his case, he threw a lot of touchdowns and threw for a lot of yards. So you got to keep that in consideration. He can get you the ball, and we have pieces that can catch the ball, and that's all I look at. It's like we have a system that can be successful if you can throw the ball. The only reason why the last couple of years we weren't successful, besides the fact that your play calling was poor, right, is that we just didn't have somebody sure at the quarterback position. You get that straight, and all of a sudden we can score a little bit. With the defense we had last year, again, we were robbed of 10 wins just because of the head coach and coaching decisions, just mismanagement just of everything, right? I talked about this a couple months ago, kicking game, obviously. We lost games because of that, right? We literally lost games just because of that. So it's going to be a lot, everybody, in regards to this upcoming season. 2026 is finally here. Y'all let me know what you think when you get to see this particular episode. Again, it's been a while since I've talked some football. I'm going to try to keep up with it during this season. That's why I wanted to kind of go ahead and get this weekend out the way to let everybody know, it's 2026. It's time to put the pads on, so to speak, right? So I'm excited about the season. I don't know about everybody else. I feel we're going to win 10 games. I don't know how we're going to do it. Like I said, it's just, it was a lot of apprehension in regards to having someone like Tua just because of his injury history, the type of injuries, Hopefully he's wearing the big helmet as far as I'm concerned. But we got to just protect him, right? Penix, he can't get hurt no more, right? This has to be it, right? Because if he gets hurt again, I don't think you will allow him to play anymore. He can't stay healthy. But we have rolled the proverbial dice. We got to see what we got now. Because the arm has never been a question. I don't think the talent's been the question. It's just, can he stay healthy? All right, we're going to find out. And then who's going to be – I think we do need a third quarterback. We can't be going into the season and think we're going to go with 2 per our history. So can Cooper Rush beat out Jack Strand, or can Jack Strand beat out Cooper Rush, however you want to look at it from that angle? But everybody else is pretty solid, I believe. So I think we're good. And again, with the defense, we got a lot of injuries. Oh, and that's what I was going to mention. It's not just the injuries, it's the eventual suspension of James Pierce Jr. that we got to look at, right? The team's going to have to do some kind of penalty. Just they have to, because if they let the NFL do it, it's probably going to be to the hilt. Right. So if the Falcons don't do any kind of disciplinary action, the NFL is going to do it. So we're going to expect him to miss games. And with Walker, being gone, it's going to hurt. And it really just means that everybody else has to step up. Right. And we may have some players that can actually do that. Harold Perkins Jr. might get some time out there. They've been saying he's been impressing out there, right? So too bad though, Troy Anderson wasn't finally healthy, because he actually used to be a player for us until we just found out he was basically Mr. Glass, right? So that's disappointing. But others are going to have to step up, but our base is pretty solid. Like I said, I hate that Diablo is also down right now. But again, can we make up for what we're going to lose in Ellis? That's going to be probably our biggest thing. Who's going to replace Ellis on this team? Someone has to replace 107 tackles and 3.5 sacks and passes defense. Somebody's going to have to be that person. I don't know who that person is going to be. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for this morning. I do have some episodes coming up. I have 2 rants of the day that I'll be posting very soon, so look out for those. But again, y'all let me know what you think. Get back to me. This was Around the ATL. This is the Atlanta Falcons 2026 season episode. Hopefully everybody's excited. Hopefully I get to go to a game. I've still not been to Mercedes-Benz yet, which is crazy. But hopefully this will be the year that changes. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, y'all take care and have a good weekend.
Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect, around the ATL. Dribble, pass, throw, catch.